أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم أفضل الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم جميعا. I want to talk for a few minutes about some of the fadail of Imam Raza alayhi salam. Some of the things which show the type of character and akhlaq that he had. And when I was looking into this topic, there was so much information, but I want to limit it to a couple of short things, since this is also part of the presentation. As you know, that JIS is a school for youth to be able to learn about the idea and practice of Islam. It's one thing to read about Islam and what it means and what akhlaq is, what is good akhlaq. You read a hadith about it. It's another thing to practice and learn how to be the person who has that akhlaq. So inshallah, we hope that this school is exactly that, and it represents that growth and development mentally, spiritually, physically for our youth. When you see a good kid, you see a good child, he has good adab, and he says Salaam Alaikum, or he brings you some tea, or he does something kind, you think to yourself, who are the parents of that child? Where is the root of this akhlaq? Where did it come from? Where did he learn this? We see that in many cases where our a'imma, from their early childhood, they were perfect examples of akhlaq and adab. And when people would see them, this is one of the ways they would come to know about Islam. We live in a society, obviously, that in this society there are many different things and different values. We want ourselves to first and foremost make sure that we instill our own Islamic values. If I leave it up to society or to television to tell me what value is, they may tell me something that's wrong. Actually, not might. They definitely will tell me something that is wrong. If the television, for example, or the internet is the babysitter for my child, then that means that they're going to be open to things which some of them are not good. There has to be a place where Islamic education happens. There has to be a place where this growth for our children happens. The idea of teaching youth, we have in hadith, that it's like land, that nothing has happened to that land. Nothing's been planted, nothing's growing. You put in the heart of the youth what you want to grow there. So if you put in that heart the love of the Ahlul Bayt, the akhlaq and the character of the Ahlul Bayt, you see that this person grows and he's a person who has good virtue. He's a person who has good akhlaq. But in this field, if we plant in it seeds which are not good and not Islamic values, why should we expect that our youth should have the values and akhlaq that Islam talks about? There's hadith, it says from Ibrahim ibn al-Abbas, He's talking about the character and the fadail of Imam Raza alayhi salam. He says, مَا رَأَيْتُ أَبَا الْحَسَنِ الرِّضَى alayhi salam جَفَى أَحَدٍ بِكَلَمَةٍ قَدْ. I never saw Imam Raza alayhi salam, when he goes to approach to talk to someone, that he's the person who talks rude. He doesn't have this akhlaq that's tund, as they say in Farsi. It's rude or too hard when he's speaking to people. He says, never do I see the Imam coming and approaching people in this way. This is one of the big fadila. If a person wants to teach something, and this person has all of the knowledge in the world, but they don't have the akhlaq to deliver the knowledge, guess what? They're not going to be successful. It's like a person who has all of the goods, but doesn't have any transportation to take them to anyone. He can't do anything. He cannot benefit people. We want to train youth who are able to benefit society. He says just the most basic of adab is when you talk to someone, you talk in a way that is respectful. If you ever find the person that says, I don't like to be respected, then introduce them. I don't think that that person exists. The hadith continues. He says, وَلَا رَأَيْتُ قَطْعَ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ كَلَامَهُ حَتَّى يَفْرُغَ مِنْهُ. I never saw even that Imam Raza alayhi salam, that when a person is talking, that he cuts them off in their speech. To say something, to add something. That he respected the person who's talking to him so much that he allowed them to talk. One of the most important rules of communication is what? Has nothing to do with talking, it's listening. The hadith continues. He says, وَمَا رَدَّ أَحَدٍ أَنْ حَاجَةٍ يَقْدِرُ عَلَيْهَا وَلَا أَحَدٍ. First he talks about how that if Imam Raza had the ability to answer a person's need or their haja, if he was able to, he always would. This akhlaq of Imam Raza is not limited to his lifetime. The shrine of Imam Raza is a place where all of you know, if you have hajat, that is the place to go. He had this akhlaq in his lifetime so much to the extent that even after he leaves this world, if you have hajat and you ask Imam Raza, he answers you. SubhanAllah. If someone comes and asks us to do something, we're busy. We don't have time. We have something else going on. You say, why can't someone else do it? Aren't there other people? Imam Raza said, if he was able to do it, he said, I will do that for you. Whatever it was that people asked of him. It says that even when he would sit, وَلَا حَدَّ رِجْلَهُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ جَلِيسٌ لَهُ قَدْ. When he was in a session sitting, he would not even extend his feet in front of the person that he was sitting with. He would not extend his legs because that would be considered some disrespect, so he would not do that. And it says, وَلَا أَتَّكَ بَيْنَ يَدَيْ جَلِيسٌ لَهُ قَدْ. That he wouldn't, even when he was sitting with someone, sitting in a session, sitting in a gathering, he wouldn't even lean. He would sit forward, meaning sit upright, as a respect to the person who's sitting there. Think about the things that probably we never even think about. this was a part of the every moment, everyday akhlaq of Imam Raza alayhi salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
It says, وَلَا رَأَيْتُهُ شَتَمَ أَحَدًا مِنْ مَوَالِيهِ وَمَمَالِيكِهِ. I never saw that as he had people who were servants that were working or helping in his home or helping him or working for him, he says, I never saw that he ever used disrespectful language when talking to his servants. Sometimes people, they use disrespectful language when talking to their co-workers, their parents, their leaders. This is not the akhlaq of Imam Raza. Biggest thing that I love to emphasize is if you have love of the Ahlul Bayt, then don't tell me about it, show me. Where I'm from, we say, don't talk about it, be about it. Show in your akhlaq what it is about Imam Raza that you learned. If it's that you learned that he never spoke ill to someone who was a servant or a slave, then why would I ever speak ill to someone who is anyone in the community? He's saying that even to the people who are considered maybe the lowest in society, they had respect when it came to Imam Raza alayhi salam. Yet, do we have respect for one another? Even the way that he would laugh. It says, وَلَا رَأَيْتُهُ تَفَلَ وَلَا رَأَيْتُهُ يُقَحْقَهُ فِي ذَكِّهِ. That Imam Raza alayhi salam, when he used to laugh, he wouldn't have this guffawing kind of loud laugh. It would be, it says, tabassum, it would be more of a smile when he laughed. He wouldn't be guffawing or wah, wah, wah. He would have a more kind of mild-manneredness when it came to even the way he laughed. It says that they never saw him spit somewhere. When he laughed, he would have this smile. And he talks about table manners. وَكَانَ إِذَا خَلَى وَنَسَبَ مَعِدَتُهُ, when they would go and have the table set or the sufra set, نَسَبَ مَعِدَتُهُ, it says, مَعِدَتَهُ أَجْلَسَ مَعَهُ عَلَى مَعِدَتِهِ مَمَالِيكَهُ وَمَوَالِيهِ. That when he would go to sit at the sufra or at the table, he would sit with those people who were the servants. This is exactly the akhlaq and the character that's mentioned in Sunan al-Nabi about the Prophet himself. That when there were people, sometimes because it was very normal to see some people, they have this takabbur, they have this kib. I don't sit with this person, I don't sit with that person. When I sit in this location. And it says that even the Prophet, when he was invited, it mentions in hadith about A'imma, when they would be invited by people who were poor, that they would take the invitation, and even if they ate this one piece, and then they would invite them and give them the same favor in return. And this is Imam Raza saying that even the people who were the servants, when the table would be set, he would invite all of them to come and we sit and we eat together. There was once a majlis where the sufra and the table was set, and there were some people there who were the ashraf, these are the nobles. And these are the people who are higher in society. And it says that when they would come, they would be surprised because Imam Raza would call all of the people who are the servants and the slaves to come sit at the same table. And he says the people would say, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? I have to sit with this person? And this would make Imam Raza very angry. Like we mentioned, أَكْرَمُكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. For Imam Raza alayhi salam, this was not a point of concern. And this is the character, a fraction of some of the akhlaq of this great Imam. So the idea about what this topic was about education and Imam Raza. The point is that Imam Raza alayhi salam himself is a source for our education. We should learn. We should learn from him how it is that we should behave when it comes to dealing with others. It does not matter if we have all the knowledge, if we have no akhlaq. This is the point of the coming of the message of the Prophet, which he emphasized so much. So, JIS, Jafari Islamic School, is aiming to, striving to, have a setting where akhlaq can be learned first from the teachers, the leaders, the organizers, and passed on into our children and students. There is a saying that says that it takes a village to raise a child. This means that if one person wants to raise a child, it's a very difficult job. But if the teacher is doing their part, the parent is doing their part, the community is doing their part, the friends are doing their part, this creates a holistic approach to development and self-building, inshallah. So with one salawat, inshallah, I'll begin this short presentation. The Jafar Islamic School. This is about the fall 2013 semester. The history of JIS. Brother Sajjad, who has been involved in JIS, talked about it a little bit. At least since 2005, has been active in for a place that's central for different people to come and be a part of. For people in all of Denver to come, their youth to be a part of a school and to be able to learn. It's a non-profit organization. So the school is every Saturday from 10:15 to 2 p.m. And one of the new things that we have added to the curriculum is to add a part of recreation or recreational activities or sports to the activities that happen as a part of the school. So this optional part of the program, for those that like to be able to participate, there'll be different activities going on at that time. And part of the idea is that Islam is holistic, meaning that Islam answers all aspects of our life. Meaning that Islam has an answer for our issues when it comes to fiqh. Islam also has an answer for our issues when it comes to economics. Islam also has an answer for our issues when it comes to our physical health. So we like to teach by showing that this is a way that by having a curriculum that covers these different aspects, that the children can grow better together. And sports is one of the areas where you learn things that you don't necessarily, it's a practice of some of the akhlaq, or some of the things that are important. For example, in sports, you learn teamwork. Sometimes people, as they get older, they don't know how to work with others. They have to work alone. They don't know how to share ideas, how to be lenient. So one of the things that sports teaches us is teamwork. It also teaches leadership. Somebody is a captain, somebody takes the lead, someone has to work with them, some people have to follow. So it's important to understand that these different aspects are being a part of this education system. So I mentioned that the regular classes are Quran, there's Arabic, which focuses more on classical Quranic Arabic, akhlaq, history, fiqh, and aqaid. So some of are combined together for some of the classes. The members of the board are, as mentioned on the board, I think Brother Sajjad also had mentioned, there's a teacher representative, Sister Sarah. There's a parent representative, Brother Mujtaba. The treasurer is Brother Hussain, and the secretary is Sister Rasheen, and I'm the principal. This is a brief biography. We're hoping that we can introduce a little bit about the teachers so that the community or those who may or may not know can get an idea about the teachers that we have. I really feel that the people who volunteer their time are some of the best people. Besides those who volunteer their wealth or their money, those who volunteer their time are the best of people because they're giving in a case where it's not an obligation for them, but there's something more important for them. The youth and their growth is more important for them. So basically, my background is that I've been involved in teaching for some years. Everyone in my family, for the most part, has been involved in teaching. I have some secular education in addition to my Hausa education, and as you see, my interests are mostly basketball, poetry, and these types of things. I have Sister Nushin. She is the secretary, has been with the school since 2008. She is very artistic and very active when it comes to design. She has really great ideas. Our education background also shows that. She's very good with children. And her long-term goal to be a valuable member of the Shia community and inshallah Imam Zaman's army, which is I think everyone's goal, inshallah salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
Our brother Husayn Nuri has a beautiful voice who recited Quran in the beginning of the program, and he's always active in helping out with our programs, and we're grateful to have him. He's doing his MBA. He also has a master's degree, and he's very good at soccer as well. That's what they tell me. Sister Sarah Hashemi, she's a very active community member, also one of the board members. She's pursuing her master's degree in psychology, I believe. Her Farsi is obviously fluent and perfect. And while I didn't put on there that the teachers speak English because it's obvious that all of them speak perfect English. But again, that she has some of the similar goals of becoming a more active and productive member of the community and completing her master's in psychology. Inshallah. Brother Mustafa Rezalkha is responsible for putting this PowerPoint presentation together with a little bit of help. And he is doing his PhD. He's very active in Quranic programs and working in Quranic institutions. Has a little bit of background with the Hausa, and so we're glad to have him aboard to be working with the kids and to share that background with them, inshallah. Some of the other teachers that we have, and there are some volunteers and teachers. If there's someone who who didn't happen to be in this presentation, then Brother Mustafa is the person that we want to be very upset at. But some of the other teachers will go through some of their profiles as well. Sister Marzia Kaka, probably many of you know, she's very active in the community, working with a lot of the people in the a lot of refugees, a lot of Iraqi refugees. She's very fluent in many different languages, lived overseas, and she's an excellent asset, extremely reliable. I'm very happy to have her on board as one of our teachers. Sister Fatima Behfar is working as a teacher and a teacher assistant. She's a data engineer by profession. She has a Master's of Science in Information System Management. She also knows German. And again, one of her long-term goals is to give back and share with the Muslim community that she's living in, which is the Denver community, alhamdulillah. Sister Zahra Fadel has been with the school since 2006. She has a bachelor's in psychology. She's completely fluent in Arabic. She has a very pleasant and positive akhlaq, and we're really grateful to have her on board as well. Brother Faizan Rizvi, he's a teacher and an assistant. He's been with the school since 2009. He's a student, and it's very nice to see that someone who's a student takes time out of their busy schedule in teaching to also find time to volunteer and teach when they're not busy napping, of course. Sister Rabab has been with the school since 2007. She's a care team assistant at the University of Colorado Hospital. She's in the field of CIS, or computer information systems, as well. She also speaks a variety of languages. She's very active in helping. She has great ideas when it comes to working with the kids. And as you see, her interests are baking and reading. And we're going to hold her to baking and having her bring in some sweets, inshallah. Sister Dianera Torres Cruz is new at the school this year. She's a student herself. She also knows, in addition to English, obviously she knows Spanish and French as well. She brings some diversity to our team this year. We're very happy to have her on board. And her sister as well is new this year. She's starting college, and she's working, and she's fluent in Spanish as well. And she also brings the diversity and a very helpful kind of atmosphere to the school, which is really appreciated. So this is just going through, the last portion has some images from some of the activities from last year that were happening, different certifications, different gatherings, some of the classrooms. Obviously we're using these same facilities. There's several different rooms that are set up for children from I think about 3-4 years old up until teenagers and 17-18 years old. This is Brother Arsalan, strictly looking over, watching over the overseer of the class. I think they were practicing Quran here. And this is Brother Mushtaq's son. And this is a recent field trip. There are some pictures from one of the events that we had recently. It was a field trip where the kids went to Miner's Maze. A lot of people signed up for that. It was very successful. There was a barbecue, and it was really a lot of fun. I think one of the ideas that I have, and I'll kind of finish with this, there's a story that was told to me about these group of rabbis. These group of rabbis, they're sitting at a table and they're studying, they're doing some kind of religious research. One of the kids comes into the room where they're studying, and obviously they're busy and they're trying to concentrate. And when the kid comes into the room and they're studying, one of the rabbis takes the kid and he gives him something sweet. And one of the other ones asks, after he gave him something sweet and he laughed, he said, "Why did you do that? Why did you give him some honey or give him something sweet?" He said, "I want him to associate in his mind religious studies with something positive." One of the challenges is to connect Islamic and religious studies with fun and activities and things that are positive. So this is the idea about bringing the two together to create a very wholesome atmosphere. I guess these are some of the pictures also from the field trip. And that's all. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.